morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're listening from. This is Talk Football. I'm your host, the most Tinashe, and it's been a while. It has been a while. I think about 2 weeks actually since you last heard our lovely voices on the show talking about our three of the three biggest clubs in England. But yeah, we're back, and without further ado, I am joined as ever, as always, by the two fantastic gentlemen. Adam, how's it going?
Yeah, it's going okay.
Yeah, I'm not too bad. Not too bad. Missed hearing your voice. You know, it's not like I've not spoken to you in a while. Okay.
That's both
Sorry?
cute and sad. That's both cute and sad.
I thought you were just gonna patch me the silence. I was like, okay, it's never
Yeah, I thought the patch was coming.
Shabs, how you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Doing well. We got dates to look forward to for the end of this whole experience of lockdown, isn't it? So
It's honestly, it's been a while.
something come good.
Actually, thinking about it, the life of our podcast since we started in August, it's been during lockdown.
We don't actually know.
Had
Our podcast doesn't know life without COVID. Does
it? Exactly. It's literally just been the COVID podcast. And for those listening, hopefully we've managed to help you get through some difficult times if you're a supporter of the three teams.
It's helped us, hasn't it?
Yeah. Well, to be fair, it's helped me when Arsenal have been playing well. You know, I can sort of come on here and gloat a little bit. But
it's not been often though.
November, December, I almost just wanted to leave the podcast. I didn't want anything to do with it.
That's me now, basically.
And Naby's just sort of been quietly coasting through, isn't he? Throughout the season, quietly coasting through. But anyway, yeah, gonna kick off the show. So this episode, essentially, since we've been away for a while, we're gonna do a double review and a double preview. I say double since sort of the last fixture, the first fixture we were looking at was so long ago. We'll sort of merge into one somehow. Yeah, before we get into that, get into the lovely stuff as we always do, we'll put all our socials in the description. So please make sure you follow, you like, and you interact. If you are a very calm person and you can take a lot of winding up, I would suggest following Naby on Twitter. Or if you're a United fan, yeah, follow Naby as well. You certainly enjoy some of the things he does have to say. But if you're an Arsenal fan, you're a Liverpool fan, I would, personally follow myself as an Arsenal fan and Shabs as a Liverpool representative. And obviously the main page as well, where we cover all the teams and everything that is going on. And all that lovely stuff. So yeah, I guess just kicking off the games, we'll start off with the Arsenal game. Arsenal, rather. So yeah, the games we'll be looking at is essentially the 4-2 against Leeds and the 1-0 to City. Those are the two reviews, and the previews. It's Arsenal have only got one fixture actually, which is Leicester. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. In terms of the what went before. Leeds game 4-2, absolutely brilliant. You know, I absolutely loved it. Though I'm not gonna lie, the second half when they got 2 goals back, my heart was kind of in my mouth a little bit. Being an Arsenal fan, I was like, oh, here we go. All I saw essentially was the Newcastle 4-4. I don't know if you guys remember that at the Emirates. Was it at the Emirates? We had 2.
It was under Alan Pardew.
Yeah, we've had 2.
I think it was. I think it was St James's Park.
Czech Chiote, rest in peace. That strike from just outside the centre circle, top corner.
That was some effort.
That was that's literally kind of the flashback. And I think I remember the commentator as well made the comment that I think it's like it was essentially nearly like something like I can't remember how many years to the day it was since that game, that 4-4 game with Newcastle. So when he said that, I was like, oh, you just jinxed us. We're definitely going to draw this now. But yeah, we managed to sort of hold out. To be fair, the performance was really good. Really, really good. Aubameyang hat-trick. Yeah, I was really impressed with that. And also, one thing to also mention, one player who's sort of just absolute pleasure to watch right now is Bukayo Saka, our number 7. It's been phenomenal this season. So he's really established himself as well as a starter. One thing that is worrying me though is the amount of 90 minutes he's playing. He's played the most minutes for an outfield player for Arsenal this season. I think only Bernd Leno has more minutes than him. But yeah, it is slightly worrying that he keeps on playing 90. Even like after the Leicester game, well, not the Leicester game, sorry, after the Leeds game, we had Benfica midweek on Thursday. I was expecting him, obviously, he played 90 against Leeds, played 90 against Benfica, and then I was expecting him to be rested against City, but then played 90 against City on the Sunday, and then he played 90 again yesterday, which, I mean, yeah, I can't actually even remember the last time he was subbed or even didn't start. Actually, it might have been an FA Cup game or something like that. And even at the 4-2 against Leeds as well, that's another one where I was kind of expecting, oh, you know what, he's going to come off now, you know, quite comfortably ahead. Nah, stayed on for the full 90. Brought Willian on, every Arsenal fan's favourite player. But yeah, that was that against Leeds. But yeah, obviously, as I just mentioned with City, he played the 90 minutes, which, yeah, I mean, he had a pretty poor game that game. Then again, mentioning, I think the whole team had a pretty poor game. I see a lot of, not a lot of, some Arsenal fans essentially sort of looking at the game saying, you know, we could have had a go at City. I would say we had dangerous moments that didn't lead to chances, if that makes sense, against City. Nothing sort of concrete to worry them. And it was 1-0. They were ramping, I guess, the first 20 minutes. And then, I don't know what you guys think, but I kind of feel like we did make it difficult for them to play through, but I feel like if they needed to get another goal, I always had the feeling that the goal was going to come from City rather than Arsenal. If there was going to be another goal in the match, like I never got the feeling that, oh, Arsenal could get a goal here. Like I said, we had dangerous moments, but they never led to creating a chance, for example. Like I don't think anyone had a clear cut chance really for Arsenal, but that's why I'm saying, like, you know, it did kind of feel like yeah, if the goal was to come, it would have been City. And after when the first goal went in, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of closed my eyes and I was just like, this is gonna be like a 4-5-0, isn't it? Because it was literally within 2 minutes, Sterling scores a header. I was like, yeah, it's gonna be an absolute City will run rampant, and especially how they were playing in that sort of first 20 minutes as well. Just something else, you know. And looking at the Arsenal players, literally just, even Aubameyang, edge of our D, just camped, lethargic, and barely moving. Which led to Jamie Carragher to say, I don't know if you guys saw, saying that he's past his best, and I kind of felt that was a bit harsh. The fact that he hasn't scored against the best defense in the league, you know, it's like saying, oh, Mane is past his best because he didn't score against City. You know, he had a poor game against City, but so did the whole team. To put it all on Aubameyang, I think it's a little bit unfair. And I feel City did a number on him as well. And they knew he's not good at holding up the ball. What he does, he just looks to either lay it off one touch, and they were always there whenever he laid it off to kind of cut out the passes, etc. So yeah, that was expected, to be fair. It's not like I went into to the City game expecting to win. All I wanted to see in the City game was a performance. Like, it's one I was already resigned to the fact that we were going to lose. But I just wanted to see, because it's one of those where you measure yourself against the best team in the country just to see how you fare. And there were parts, like I said, we did okay, but yeah, it was. If the goal was to come, a second goal was to happen in the match, it definitely would have come from City rather than Arsenal. I don't know what you guys' thoughts were on those two games specifically. Wanted to get a little bit more deep into it tactically in terms of the swaps, because Saka was playing on the left and Pepe on the right, whereas before, I don't know if you've noticed recently, Saka's been on the right and Pepe on the left. I think the swap was to accommodate Cancelo, because when he plays, I don't actually know what position he ends up playing, because looking at the game, he was literally all over the pitch, and Stones would go.
Yeah, I think he gets a free role.
Like literally,
kind of the way he plays him.
It was all over the pitch. Yeah, and I think I can't remember who. I think it might have been Jamie Carragher. What's his name? Gary Neville summed it up perfectly. It was like, it's like when you're playing possession in training, and he's the spare man with the different color bib that you just pass to. That's what it almost feels like for City.
Yeah, that's what he is. Yeah,
any situation that he's always there to be to be the valve and let out the pressure, pass to him, and then he'll switch play or move it around. But yeah, I'm not sure what you guys' thoughts, or if you had any on the two games regarding for Arsenal.
Naby, you want to go?
Well, I mean, the after the goal, it did become a very somber affair.
Yep.
City didn't really push for it, and Arsenal just kind of tried their best to hang in there.
Mm-hmm.
I think even if Arsenal did make a goal, then City probably would have turned it up and probably would have ended up like 3-1, 4-1 or something.
Yeah, I completely agree, because that's what I'm saying. Like, it almost felt like if City needed to, they would be able to get another goal, But in the end,
they had it under control. They were probably in like first or second gear, a little bit.
In the end, they didn't need to. But I guess for Arsenal, it's a good thing because it keeps our goal tally down. It makes our defense look good. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's the positive, I'd say.
Yeah.
Like after the first like 10-15 minutes, I think Arsenal did well in that situation afterwards. Because the old Arsenal would have fallen apart, I think. But then also City looked like they backed off more than they normally would. They didn't go for the jugular, did they? They kind of looked like they went 1-0 up, could have scored another 2 or 3. And then once that didn't happen, they just decided to just control the game.
I also kind of feel like there's something going on between Pep and Arteta. I don't quite know, like in terms of tactically. I almost kind of feel like they're trying to outdo each other. So when they scored, I feel like Pep would have told them, okay, sit back and try and see what they do. But then we didn't do anything. That was the thing. We didn't actually, yeah.
But Pep did say, like, Arteta knows everything inside out, doesn't he? From like players' weaknesses to strengths to tactics. Which is true, he will do after 3 years. And Pep's not someone to change his game.
Yeah, well, I would say
Arteta's learned off him for over 3 years. I don't think he would have changed enough that Arteta wouldn't know what he's doing.
I'll reiterate that. Okay, what I mean is, if you look at Pep at Barcelona, at Bayern Munich, and even at City, after the first year, obviously, they had good defensive records because they kept the ball 100% of the time, right? Whereas now, I genuinely think their defensive structure, it's a lot better than what it was.
But having the ball does help them.
No,
it does.
It does. I'm so sorry. I'm not trying to like say that's not the case at all. I'm just trying to make the point that he's also. I feel like he's improved his defensive aspect of coaching, in terms of his team. Because looking at it, 6 goals conceded in 18 games. That's ridiculous. Like the team defensively, I think they're a lot more sound than what because before in previous years, if there was something that you always felt you could go at with City, it was their defense. Even with Barcelona, you always felt if you were to get a chance at their defense, you have a chance at winning the game. But with the City team, there's literally nothing. If you're looking at their defense, you can't say, oh, if you get a chance at their defense, you can't get a chance at their defense because their defense is really good. Yeah, that's the point I'm trying to make, I guess, that I feel like he's improved defensively. But yeah, like you're saying, also possession helps.
But no one can really get the ball for them. They do have a world-class defender in Ruben Diaz, which has helped massively, I think. Just him being there has helped a lot.
And you've got
But
Laporte
tactics
as
can
well.
do so much, but when you just have a world-class defender, you have a world-class defender, don't you? It makes a huge difference in any team.
Even Laporte as well, I would put him in that category.
Yeah, the fact that he doesn't even start, he's like a rotated
tells you
player in,
everything.
like madness.
Yeah, because when Laporte came in, he is what we think of Diaz now is what we were thinking of Laporte when he came in.
That's true.
Oh yeah, 100%. He was put alongside Van Dijk up until his injury, and even then he was still put alongside him. But obviously, with the injury, he wasn't named as much.
Yeah.
So we were talking about those kind of levels, and now he can't get in ahead of Stones.
And Stones, to be fair to him, he's been brilliant this season.
Oh yeah, he's done really well. But we're talking about the three centre backs that they've got now.
Yeah.
They can rotate in and out and keep clean sheets.
They've got Ake just sitting somewhere.
£50 million just rotting.
50 million just to sit around because they don't care. Like that's. Imagine the pressures our clubs would be in for having £50 million player on the bench or not even playing. Whatever. There was so many questions, even media and everything. Like, oh, what's wrong with their transfer policy? You spent £50 million pounds on a player to sit on their bench and all that stuff. See, it's not even spoken about. No one cares.
Nah.
It's just another player.
Yeah, it's not an issue. It's actually quite remarkable if you think about it.
And it's the same with the Mendy. I don't know how much Mendy cost, but he's another one. He doesn't.
He was about 50 or so.
Where's he gone?
He's
just not a good player. I've always thought he wasn't that good.
This is one. I completely agree with you, Shabs. One thing Mendy's good at, he's good at crossing the ball. That's it. Like if you literally,
he's got nothing defensively, nothing.
If you give him the ball and say cross it all day, he'll find a player, 8-9 times out of 10. But if you tell him, okay, let's defend, you have a problem.
He's the opposite of Wan-Bissaka, isn't he? That's what he is.
To be fair,
you need to merge the two. You need to do fusion on Wan-Bissaka.
I would say Wan-Bissaka has improved a bit in terms of his delivery going forward. To the point
he has actually, yeah.
Compared to Mendy's defense, Mendy's just got nothing defensively. Good social media PR though, like he's on point, but
no, but he's positioning, he's one-on-one, like anything. He's just useless, isn't he? Really, as a defender.
Yeah, but yeah,
and he was like 50-odd million. But anyways, enough about City.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, to be fair, I do like I was saying, agreeing with Nabi that yeah, I do feel like if City needed to, let's say if Arsenal got back, it would have ended up 3-4-1. They would have turned up gear 3, 4.
Yeah,
5,
you
6.
could tell they had it in them if they really wanted to.
Yeah,
they let it be a 1-0 basically. City chose to allow it to kind of be 1-0. Yeah, they just went almost like we'll just rest.
Pep and Arteta got on the phone and said, "Look, I'm under a bit of pressure. I'll give you a 1-0, and then just tell your players to chill." Arteta and Pep were like, "Okay, cool, that's fine. It's not a problem."
Works out for both teams, kind of thing.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
In return, then he said, "In return, I'll give you Tierney cheaper."
Tierney and Saka. Yeah, that's one thing that's worrying me. I don't think I don't think Tierney will be sold.
If Arsenal want to make it back to the elite, you can't sell Tierney. But it's a sign of weakness, isn't it?
I saw a lot of there was a lot of debate on sort of Arsenal Twitter. Some fans. There were some. Like I said, for me, like I know it seems ridiculous. If City came in with 100 million for Saka or Tierney, not both, just one, I would take it. Not even just City. If
I don't think it's that simple anymore.
No, I don't think it's that simple anymore. I'm just sort of saying I would, in the sense that you would hope to then do what Liverpool did rather than what Tottenham did with Bale's money.
It's this big risk, though. It's big risk.
Because the thing is, the reason I'm saying that is because you have to think about it, right? For Tierney and Saka to both stay at Arsenal long term, Arsenal have to meet their ambitions as players. It's going to get to the point where Saka will be like, look, I want to win the Premier League now. Tierney, same thing.
But that won't happen in the next couple of seasons.
No.
Like, I can't see Saka pushing for an X in the next two. But yeah, 5 years down the line, you could maybe
realistically, because is 19 and Tierney 22, 23. So yeah, with Saka, yeah, I do see it will come to, if Arsenal doesn't match the player's ambition, I would take the money, even though it will be hard to take it.
But would you take it this summer?
boy.
Because that's what you're on about, Naby, really, aren't you? Kind of the summer coming.
I wouldn't take it this summer. I wouldn't take it this summer.
Or do you, Naby, are you on about like future, or do you mean like summer coming? City put down 100 million.
Well, I don't think they put down 100 million. I think a bid will be coming this summer because they need a left back.
Yeah. Do you think, would you sell him then?
No.
Tierney?
Well, I think you. It seems you are feeling a bit insecure, because I saw on Twitter there's some question put out. How would you describe Tierney in one word? And you said Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to.
To be fair, if there was a club you'd put one word to Tierney, it's Celtic, if anything.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of insecurity there showing, and you're trying to tie him into Arsenal. So you stay.
Do you know what I'm playing on, right?
He definitely is. 100%.
He posted a picture of himself calling himself the gun, as in like the gunner. So that's why I was like, oh, cool. Like, you know, he loves. Okay, not obviously to.
But he is Celtic. I'm
not saying. I'm not. It's one of those, like, I do seem like once he wants to sort of wind down his career, you know, he will probably go back to Celtic. But currently, yeah, I wouldn't say. I was meaning in terms of how I feel he feels about Arsenal. That's why I was sort of the reference I was given, you know. That, yeah, I would like. I feel like he loves the club essentially. I'm not comparing it to Celtic before you jump in. It's not a comparison. I'm just saying that's what I feel he does. You know.
Yeah, I'm with Naby on that. It does sound like insecurities are there, but you know.
Hey.
I don't think he's leaving. Personally, I don't think he's leaving. I think if he does leave, I think I'll be worried for Arsenal in the future.
If Arteta sells him, he will become public enemy number one. I can guarantee you that. It will be very hard for him.
And the ambitions of Arsenal will be like, okay, clearly you guys don't want to make it back to the top.
Yeah. Instead of keeping the top players, you're selling them. But yeah.
You're selling players who haven't reached their potential yet. Someone else will get to see it, not Arsenal. So what's the point? You want to stop being that selling club, and you know, be the club that buys it and keeps hold of the players because they want to stay. Because that's what we were for a while, and we had to work hard. Like, we kept, once our big name players reached their peak, they were off to like a Barcelona or wherever, and we had to work hard. Like even Torres, like someone like that, like jumped ship to Chelsea. Even Gerrard nearly did, and you don't want to stay as that club, because right now that's what Arsenal are. Arsenal are a bit of a stepping stone.
Yeah.
Like, they might not be for like a Tierney, but I'd say for like a foreign player coming to Arsenal, they would use it for experience, Premier League, probably build Champions League if they can, and then
if Gabriel,
get themselves in the market for like
continues on his current trajectory, and he continues playing as well as he is, and 2-3 years down the line,
like if a PSG move in, like he's gone, isn't he?
Yeah,
they're gone.
That's it.
And you need to move away from that. Like, you need to get yourself to the point where people want to end their careers. Yeah, that's what you need. But you need sustained Champions League football and stuff. But that's a longer debate.
Yeah,
you know.
And
that's not looking better.
Yeah, and I guess talking of looking better is Leicester as well. Right? That's who we've got in our next fixture. Come on. That was a lot better than my usual ones.
Round of applause. Round of applause for that.
But yeah, we've got Leicester at the weekend, which it's I don't know. It's
a good game actually. I like Rodgers, what he's doing, but one thing I would say, I don't know if you guys saw, but they went out the Europa League.
Yeah,
I don't know how much mentally that would affect them.
I don't know. I don't think it will, to be honest. And
it seemed like he rotated. It sounded like it.
One thing I will also say as a FPL plug, if you don't have Jamie Vardy, get Jamie Vardy into your team and potentially triple captain him, because Jamie Vardy always scores against Arsenal. Or should I say against the big six clubs. But also Arsenal. Win, lose, Leicester when they're playing Arsenal, Jamie Vardy scores. Kind of like Harry Kane whenever we play Tottenham. But anyway.
Barnes is a good shot though. He's on form. He's on fire. Barnes, very good player.
And he'll be running down Hector Bellerin side as well, which he's been pretty poor this season. Or recently he's been pretty poor. So that could be an interesting battle. But yeah, I am a bit anxious about that game. I want obviously our strongest team to play, but at the same time, like I was mentioning at the start of this, like I want Saka to rest, to be rested.
But you guys only have one game, right?
Yeah. But
so midweek he is off, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, into the next game.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, whereas everyone else is playing midweek.
True. That's true. Yeah, but what? That's like what?
So I can't see.
2 weeks. He's played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games in 2 weeks.
I think you've got to push one more out of him because he's too important a player.
That's the issue. That's the issue now. Like how quickly he's, how important he's become so quickly at such a young age. But yeah, it will be an interesting game. But I do feel pretty anxious. They beat us 1-0 in the reverse fixture at the start of the season at the Emirates. So yeah, we'll be going to.
Yeah, I'd have to put Leicester as favourites on this one.
Mm-hmm.
I think, but I think a draw is a big possibility.
If we get a win
on this game, with Maddison out though, it helps Arsenal.
Yeah.
Well, I think he will be out most likely for this one at least.
We've got Partey back as well now, which is a good shot for us in the midfield.
So top 4 incoming then. Top 4 incoming then.
Yeah, watch the space. But yeah, I'm not sure if you guys have any questions regarding sort of the Leicester game. I'm expecting pretty much a similar lineup to the City game, apart from El Neni out and Partey in. Is what I'm expecting to see, but it might be too soon to start Partey. We'll see what they think. But he came on, played 20 minutes, yesterday. So hopefully he's fit enough to come on and at least start, and then maybe get subbed off.
Would you not say though that Partey is now more important for your Europa League cause?
Yeah, you hit me with the left hook there. That is true.
Probably. Yeah. You just had the best comeback in your European history, isn't it?
A night to remember.
In Athens.
Was it actually seen as that big of a night?
Nah, I don't think so, to be fair.
Amongst Arsenal fans, was it seen as like, this is big moment?
That's not what I see. You will always get some. I think it's just mainly because of how rubbish this season. Like, essentially, put it this way: the way we were looking at it is our season was hanging on a knife on this game, on this one game. If we lost this game, we've got nothing else to play for this season. That's literally our season done. We're just playing to finish the season now. Whereas with this game, it's like there's still a chance in the cup. With the cup game, there's always still a hope that you might win it. And if for me, that game, I'm gonna be brutally honest, that swung me in the way that we're not gonna win the Europa League. With the teams that are left and how we played that game, I was like, nah, no chance. But hey, I could be wrong. It is cup competitions after all. But yeah, I think Arsenal fans were looking at it in the sense that they made it a big thing because our season is potentially pretty much hung on that game.
If it wasn't Arsenal and if it was Spurs, you'd probably be laughing, looking from the outside in. Think,
you would.
They're going crazy about a comeback win against Benfica. Probably would be, to be fair. No, that's just rivalry, but you probably would be. I was just disappointed that Naby's link that he sent of that tweet, where Spurs' one was being put alongside Liverpool's. I'm like,
that wasn't the intention. It was just naming big nights for those clubs. I mean, they could have
it sounded like
in...
we're talking about two big nights, like Liverpool's big night, Spurs' big night, and then our Arsenal's is the banter one of trying to call Benfica a big night. That's what I saw it as.
That's what it
Whereas
was.
my point would be, like, Spurs and Liverpool, Spurs' big night is nothing compared to what Liverpool's big night was. Like, it's not even close.
That wasn't the point of the tweet.
Mm-hmm.
I know, but that's why I take
making it all about Liverpool as usual.
Yeah.
Liverpool's in that tweet, but come on, we just compared Istanbul to Ajax.
That's not what was going on.
Yeah, okay. Again, you look at it as a comparison. It wasn't a comparison.
Well, it was a comparison, but
No,
it wasn't
just
a comparison
naming-
between Liverpool and Spurs.
No, which you were making it into.
No, but that's what I'm saying. But it was a comparison. It was just comparison between Champions League nights and Europa League nights. Really, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Because Europa League is what. But there's just seen as like a farmers tournament type thing. It's not seen as like the big leagues.
I think it's see if they they're not obviously, but if they moved it to like a Wednesday night instead, I think it'd be seen not as a bigger, but maybe as not as little. I think the fact that it's on a Thursday,
No. I don't think it's
works
that.
against
I don't
it.
think it's the Thursday thing. I think the Thursday thing comes from the fact that it's the Europa League. I think that's all it is. I think because it's the Europa League, Thursday it's Thursday that's got the bad name because of Europa League, not the other way around. So it's because
it's the
it's
fact
just
like
the way
at
it
the
is.
start you're playing banter United from
Unknown
Timbuktu.
parts of Europe.
Yeah, you're like, is that even a country? There's some places.
And then the
in
Champions
City-
League teams that messed up drop in.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
At stages like this,
it's not like the
this is
elite,
where-
it's
this
the
is where it
dropouts.
starts to become exciting. At a stage like this is where the Europa League starts becoming exciting. You got United versus Milan, those kind of fixtures. People would be like, okay, cool. You got big clubs playing against each other now. That's when it starts getting.
One thing I
entertaining.
would say about the Champions League, I know it's not part of our pod, but one thing I would say is Premier League clubs are doing well. Like in terms of, it's quite impressive. Like obviously United came up against Real Sociedad, who's been doing well in the
La Liga.
La Liga, ripped them apart. You've also had Chelsea up against the top team in La Liga, controlled the whole game, deserved 1-0 win there. And we obviously came up against Leipzig,
This
who's
is
doing
what you
well
just
in
wanted
Germany.
to say in the end, isn't it?
No, I'm being serious. So
this is-
all our three clubs came up
all of
against
this
big
led to
teams in
this.
their leagues. We have the Atletico Madrid, who's top, like killing it, like killing the La Liga. We got Real Sociedad, who were up there at one point, talking about some very talented players in their squad, and Real Sociedad got battered by a Europa League United who dropped down from the Champions League. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just showing how strong our league is. I think it's probably
But then
second.
it's also could argue that the
behind
reason
Germany.
why United battered Real Sociedad is because United don't belong in the Champions League. They don't belong in the Europa League, sorry, not the Champions League.
No, but the reason they're in the Europa League is because they don't belong in the Champions League because they dropped out, deservedly finishing third.
The
How it
point
works,
that,
isn't it?
I get that, but the point that I'm saying is that I guess they're too good for the Europa League, essentially, rather than they don't belong there. They're too good. Like
No, but I
obviously-
just still think it's quite impressive, to be fair.
Yeah.
Okay, more Chelsea
me,
then.
I
Okay,
take it-
Chelsea are
I
what,
take it with a
fifth?
pinch of salt because of how awful Real Madrid and Barcelona are doing this season. If Real Madrid and Barcelona were flying,
But it's not just
and
this season.
if Real Madrid
It's
and
just in
Barcelona-
general they're a lot weaker.
if Real Madrid and Barcelona were flying this season and Atletico were still top of the league, then I'll be like, that is extremely impressive. That you.
I'm saying it's showing the strength of our league compared to La Liga.
But then, if you look at La Liga's top teams at the moment, they're pretty poor. They're playing the top two teams. Because essentially a Premier League top 6 team beat La Liga top 4 team. Yeah, I wouldn't say there's too much into that personally.
Well, so you wouldn't read too much into a fifth place Chelsea beating, like comfortably, really beaten in terms of overall play, and Atletico Madrid, who's obviously recently struggled, but look like they're running away with the league.
Yeah, but that's
And you're
what I'm
still
saying.
up against a Messi Barcelona.
That's what I'm saying. They're running away.
Like, they're not awful.
They're not. They're running away with the league because of how poorly Real Madrid and Barcelona are playing. But I guess we're getting really, really sidetracked here now. We're talking about La Liga when we're talking about Premier League. So I guess to steer back on course, we'll move to Liverpool next. Since you wanted to chat about Liverpool, yeah. How were your last 2 L's against? It was Leicester 3-1 and Everton 2-0.
Everton 2-0. So the way I summarize the games, you guys might have seen it differently. I don't know if you guys
How
watched
do
it or
you
not,
summarize the game, Shubs?
the way I saw it was Leicester game. We had it under control for 70 minutes up until Alisson's Kabak's mistakes, which then ended up with a collapse.
Personally, I kind of feel it's unfair to blame Kabak on that. That I would put that solely on because Alisson has got.
Put it as a
the
mix up in
picture.
communication.
Alisson
That's all I
can
would
see
put
the
it
whole
as.
picture. Kabak can't. He can only
I
see
know,
the
but
ball.
Kabak when they both went at it together. So we don't know what Alisson said to him. We don't know if he shouted at him. If Alisson shouted at him,
he didn't shout at him.
Kabak still went in there.
Didn't shout at him because I was watching it on No Noise Sky Sports. He didn't shout at him because you can hear the players screaming at each other with the No Noise Sky Sports. Nothing.
True.
It
But
was
I
more
personally
Henderson
put that down
after
to
the goal had
communication
gone.
error.
Yeah, it was more Henderson. Yeah, it was. You're right. He should have sort of just screamed keepers, and then if Kabak steps out the way.
Because I think someone who's more experienced or in terms of knowledgeable around our team would probably leave that knowing Alisson sweeping up.
Mm-hmm.
But Kabak obviously hasn't got
He's
that
new.
full understanding yet, which is part of the whole.
Do you know what?
The whole strength of the centre back and keeper
was,
partnership is the relationship.
I thought it was also an element that, what's his name? Becker doesn't trust the central defensive in front of him, so he would rather clear it himself, sort of take the situation in his hands. Whereas if it was Van Dijk, I don't think Alisson's coming out for that. If it was Van Dijk and Gomez, he would just leave it.
But you can understand why, because
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I think the relationship until the trust and all that builds. I think
that's what I'm saying. I can see why it was more that.
But yeah, we basically fell apart after that. We basically Madison's free kick went in.
Wasn't that first?
That was first, yeah.
Yeah.
And then it fell apart.
Yeah.
So basically, they scored, and then we fell apart after, and led to 2 more goals. But for the first 70 minutes, I thought we actually controlled the game, played really well. Didn't fully create a chance. I know you're talking about Arsenal where it's the final pass that didn't happen. So playing well without actually creating the final chance. That's kind of what we've been doing. So we've played well, looked good, looked comfortable. Salah scored a decent goal with a little Firmino assist turn skill thing. And then Madison scored and then fell apart. That's how the Leicester game is summed up for me. And then the Everton game, I would say we were overall pretty poor, apart from first 15 minutes of the second half, where we looked like we could come back. I think the early goal killed it. It basically allowed Everton to do exactly what they wanted to do. So I thought Ancelotti played his tactics really well as well. And then I personally thought the penalty was shocking. And it's what annoyed me was Carragher's commentary after the penalty, which is, if Liverpool get a goal back here, then the penalty will be spoken about. But if they don't, then it's just the second goal. It's not important. And I'm thinking in my head, mate, there's 10 minutes to go. At 1-0, it's a hugely different game to a 2-0. So how could you say your penalty doesn't matter? I could understand it's the second goal, so it requires us to score 2. And they would have still been 1-0 up. But it's mentality-wise, it's a completely different game being 1-0 up and being 2-0 up.
I think,
10 minutes
I
go.
think with him,
So I thought that was a bit reckless in his commentary.
I think I obviously I don't know what he was saying for sure. Personally, I don't know, Nabi, you can chime in as well what your thoughts are if you sort of heard it. I thought he was referring to the game state. Liverpool weren't offering anything threatening to Everton. I think that's why he was saying it doesn't.
No, but
change
even
anything.
not with 10 minutes to go in the Merseyside derby.
Everton,
you can't say it doesn't make a difference. That's what my point would be.
Everton were comfortable. Like you
but that's what I'm saying. My point isn't whether we're talking hindsight. Everton were comfortable doesn't mean they would have been comfortable for 10 minutes with 10 minutes to go. Pressures change massively when you're only one goal up compared to 2.
Up until that final 10 minutes when the whole sort of, after you even said yourself, you played well for the first 10 minutes of the half.
10-15 probably. Yeah. Second half.
After that, it sort of went straight back to the rhythm of just Everton saying, okay, come and break us down. I would say more the goal, it just pretty much, that's just Everton then just taking their boots off and say, okay, the game is done. I get what you're saying that, it could still have been, but I think he was more just referring to the sense that, the game state, Liverpool, it didn't, I couldn't see Liverpool scoring from a million miles away. Like, I couldn't see it.
But I'm not saying that Liverpool would have gone on to score. What I'm saying is the penalty, I know it's to make it 2-0 rather than 1-0. So, but it doesn't mean it's not a big enough talking point, because you never know with like a team, like how often have you seen like a Man United play like a relegation side for 85 minutes, down the control, but with 5 minutes to go, suddenly the big team is in the back foot just because they're trying to hold out for that win because they haven't got that second. Like, it happens so often where the bottom side will be like, they look like they'll never score, but with 5 minutes to go, suddenly their whole mentality changes because you've gone from the team trying to get a second to the team trying to hold on to the one. And I just think it's completely
the
like
smaller club against Everton.
No, I'm just using that as an example because that's what I've had to get to make understand the example.
You can't see me on camera. That was a big cheesy grin. I was just trying to wind you up.
Yeah, I can't see you on camera, but
Nabi, what are your thoughts on it?
I just think it's a bit.
I agree with you, Tim. I think it's the two Fs, flow and form. I think he was judging the flow of the game was going with Everton, and Liverpool's form of the last few home games was that they weren't going to score, even if Everton didn't get that penalty. I mean, obviously, I get your point, Shabs, that you don't know what could have happened.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. Though I'm not saying we would have scored. I think we probably wouldn't have scored. We probably would have done our usual, trying to get across in, but just looking hopeless, and they'll just clear their lines because we don't have the physical ability or the aerial ability. But
that's what I'm saying.
My point was, he was saying it as if it didn't matter, like the penalty decision doesn't matter. Like he said, as if
I guess it's now just
it's
down
to make it
how,
2, not 1.
Down how we're interpreting. Like I said, I personally interpreted as it.
That's my interpretation of Carra's comments.
He was saying it as it doesn't matter because Liverpool are not going to score anyway. Whereas if you were looking threatening,
but that's a lot of hindsight, isn't it? That's a lot of hindsight.
No, but that's what I was gonna say. Like even leading up to that penalty, it's not even hindsight. The feeling of the game, the flow of the game, you weren't getting that feeling that Liverpool are gonna score here. Because like you're saying yourself, you didn't even think that they were good. They were just carried on crossing the ball, and then Everton was just cleared it.
This is football. We could look like we're not scoring. Next minute, a 40-yarder goes in. Like that's football, isn't it? That's the whole point in football. The most unpredictable things happen. So to ignore, to say, the penalty doesn't matter because they were 1-0 up anyways, and it would have been a loss for Liverpool because they weren't playing well, which they weren't, and they didn't look like scoring. And you know how Merce always goes, yeah, this team won't look like scoring for a month or Sundays. It was one of those ones. But that doesn't mean in football something like that can't happen. And I still think, even if it wasn't a penalty to make it 1-0 rather than 2-0, it was a big decision in the game. Like, it was the most ridiculous decision ever that I've seen.
I
guess in my head, I still look at it and go, what is Trent meant to do?
I guess we've got
really what is he meant to do?
Different interpretations of that. But in terms of the penalty itself, Nabi, what were your thoughts on it? Did you think it was a pen?
No. I can't see how Calvert-Lewin running into Alexander-Arnold is a penalty.
To be honest, I would love to sit here
because of his foot was up.
Yeah, I would love to sit.
People saying stuff like that.
To sit here and say I think it was a pen because you've been annoying me a lot, Shabs, with like, oh well, that's not the rules. Actually, the rule states so it is actually a red card. For me, it was not a penalty. I see. Initially, when I was watching the replays, I thought, he might have clipped him with. Calvert-Lewin goes down because of the kick to Trent Alexander-Arnold's head, back of the neck, whatever you want to call it. Not because of the foot. The foot was up, but the foot, like...
Yeah,
I don't even think the foot touches
was
him.
It?
No, I don't even think the foot touches him. Like, he does keep his foot up, but it's got nothing to do with the foot. He kicks him at the back of the head, and then he goes down. And what was even more shocking to me, like what I was calling for you with the David Luiz thing, and then I guess your point was proven, you and Nabi, what you were saying, that how can you trust the people that are making the errors to go and review the video and then make the correct decision?
Did he even review the video? That made me so furious because I saw him. He got sent to the VAR. And you know what? getting sent to the monitor, you know what that means. Decisions are overturned. Or you think that's what it means.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, yes, he's going to the monitor. He's seen this. He's going to look at Cavalier just running into Trent's head, who's slid like maybe 3 yards in front of him.
He did. I don't think he saw.
He just went to the monitor. I don't even know what clip he looked at, and he just went, "Yeah, penalty." But I'm like, what is going on here?
I'm not gonna lie. I was shocked. I was shocked at the speed of the review.
And then you have Ref Watch the next day with Dermot Gallagher on Sky, which made it even worse because if referees back referees, no matter how bad the decision is, and the only reason that they wouldn't let back a referee is when PGMOL come out and say, okay, the decision was wrong, and then that ref who backed his own mate would then go, actually, yeah, it was wrong because of this law. They don't know what they're doing. They just back each other up pointlessly.
Yeah.
And the Dermot Gallagher wanted to say it was a pen and it should have been a red. That was his point. I'm like, what? So,
I think having given it, it should have been a red. Having given it.
Yeah.
No, but my point was the way they saw it is what makes it a red? Because the reason Trent's there is because he slid in front of Calvert-Lewin to attempt to block the ball.
Oh, yeah,
so his challenge itself was to challenge for the ball.
This comes down to the law.
That was his challenge.
This stupid ass law that they still have. That as long like
so
we're saying,
they must have seen it as the same phase of play, right?
They saw it as the same phase of play. Someone's legs and trying to get the ball while they're the last man, and it will still you still was he even given a yellow card?
I don't remember. I was so infuriated by the fact there was a penalty. I don't even remember if it was a yellow or not.
But yeah,
probably.
They need to change this law and soon, hopefully, because for me,
Wait, do you know how furious us Liverpool fans would be if that would then put as a red? Like, there's one thing having a tangle of legs or whatever you want to call it. David Luiz one. I know it's very, very minimal.
How do you think we were feeling as Arsenal fans with the David Luiz one? Because David Luiz was trying to get out of the way. It's not like
he didn't, did he? That's the point.
David Luiz didn't even tackle. Whereas Trent went in for the tackle and completely missed. David Luiz didn't even go in for the tackle.
No, but Trent missed. But Trent was 3 yards ahead of him, and then Cameron ran into him. So how is that Trent doing anything?
Yeah. But like I'm saying, for me, you're saying imagine how furious Arsenal fans were with the David Luiz one, because it's literally, obviously not exactly the same, but they're pretty similar. In the fact that
Trent's one was basically if the striker tangled with David Luiz and then you got the pen and got a red card. That's what Trent one's is. That's what that is. Do you know what I mean? So you know how David Luiz was behind him, tried to avoid him, and I know it's very, very minimal contact. We don't want to speak about it too much anymore, but it was David Luiz who was behind the striker. The way Trent's one's played out is as if David Luiz was in front of the striker tangled David Luiz's legs and tripped him up, and then won the penalty in red. That's what that would be. Imagine how you'd feel if that's how it happened. Because that's what Trent's one was, wasn't it? It was the striker going into Trent, who then won the penalty.
I keep feeling as well, like, we won't get into the David Luiz one, but I'll get into it. It was the way he went down after that tiniest of clips. That clip is not enough to bring a grown man down, no matter how fast you're going.
No, but you see Rashford's dive, or soft penalty as we would call it, the modern day one.
And then Naby,
which there's Naby turning around.
All of a sudden interested.
Because there was a lot of chat about it being a modern day challenge and a modern day penalty and all that kind of stuff. I'm saying if it's anyone else, you say a Martial, a Salah, maybe a Bale, those kind of players who supposedly hold the reputations, they're getting ridiculed for that kind of soft falling over. Because it was the slightest of touches from Willock. I initially thought pen, but when I saw the replays, it was very minimal, and he went down as if, he got taken out.
Exactly,
which he didn't.
Like the David Luiz one. Like, the guy throws his arms up, and I'm like, bro, why are your arms going up? Like,
you know the way Welbeck went down after Robertson touches his toes.
Yeah,
that's what Rashford did. That was what it was. It was
I think there was more. No, there was more content. I think Rashford actually gets his foot.
No, but the
his foot
challenge doesn't
stood
make you
on.
go down like that. That's my point. The challenge does not make you go down like that. Rashford went down like that to win the penalty. I'm not saying there wasn't any contact, but you can't tell me that challenge makes Rashford go down like that. It doesn't. Don't even try and find a way to argue that. It just does not happen.
I'll come down to Portsmouth, stand on your foot, and we'll see what you do.
I'll probably stay on my feet, to be fair.
You just hop around on one leg. You wouldn't.
Yeah, you'd hop around on one leg a little bit.
But-
I'm not saying it's not a penalty, but it is soft, and he did go down theatrically in order to win it, which might be the modern game. But my point is, other players go down theatrically, and it's ridiculed a lot more. And Rashford's was seen as like hailed as like a big man, like, oh yeah, it's just a modern day foul.
One thing
Rashford's being professional.
One thing you need to remember,
all this kind of stuff.
One thing, Rashford is English. Most of the other players that you named, aren't they foreign? That's why they get ridiculed.
No, but do you know where I'm coming from, T? Like,
no,
the whole media around the whole situation is.
No,
it was a modern day foul. Like, everyone was like high fiving Rashford for what he did. Anyone else, and you just like,
that's
why is he going down like that? Imagine they would criticize. Sky Sports would criticize.
But that's what I'm saying. That because he's an English sweetheart, they love him, so they're not going to criticize.
Same with Kane. The word clever always comes out. The word clever when it comes to these players, they always talked about being clever.
Exactly.
When is anyone else? Nah, but he's so theatrical. Oh, he shouldn't be going down like that. Oh, he should be much stronger.
Yeah.
Well, when it's these guys, nah, but they position themselves well. They're being clever.
Mm-hmm.
Made the player go into him and all this kind of stuff. Made him go down, and yes, I just thought, it deserved a bit more criticism than it gets. They should be more even in their criticism to players.
Anyway, yeah, I guess you just took us
moving on
nicely into the United section.
What about the review?
We done with Liverpool,
Sheffield United and Chelsea.
Oh yeah, apologies. Sorry.
Also, I wanted to ask, just to bring up the point, Liverpool, the Leicester game, Leicester's first goal comes from Thiago's foul. What do you think was it? Henderson seemed quite annoyed about that Thiago. So is Thiago's
because it was unnecessary, and I feel like it's fine fouling in certain positions, but you gotta be more intelligent in those kind of areas when you got players. It's like giving a foul just outside the box when you're playing Southampton, knowing Ward-Prowse is going to be over it. Like, you gotta be more clever with it. And I understand he was on the edge of the penalty area, so it's either foul now or let him through. But you gotta trust your defenders are behind you and stuff. Like, it was a very silly free kick to give away. So, and Henderson obviously as the vocal leader, he's gonna say something. But I don't think it's big enough to. But sometimes he does tackle a bit. Well, to be fair, a lot of the time he does tackle a bit recklessly. He's a Scholes, isn't he? He's a Paul Scholes. Every time Paul Scholes in, I remember I used to think he's going to break someone's leg the way he tackles.
Yeah, Scholes is a bad tackler, but Thiago is a.
He can be a good tackler. He's just awkward. Like, he does it wrong. Like, he'd go from the side and like from behind and do it at the wrong time in wrong positions. Like, sometimes, or he overdoes it. Like, he's overly aggressive when he doesn't need to be, and stuff like that.
I think he's got the highest fouls per 90 minutes.
Probably. I'm not surprised. He gets a yellow card nearly every game. But yeah, I don't know if you guys thought we played well in the Leicester game. I know we were awful in the Everton game, but Leicester game, I did actually think we played well for like first 60.
After you scored against Leicester, I thought you were going to win the game.
Yeah, because we were comfortable, weren't we? Like, we were comfortable.
You were comfortable. I wouldn't know about playing well in terms of the context of how Liverpool are doing at the moment. Yes, but playing well for Liverpool and what we expect from Liverpool. No.
Yeah.
No, but that's a high standard we set. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the thing. You will be measured.
No, but it's not something. No, but it's not something we can keep up when we got some of our big names missing. No, but it's can't. If you're swapping Van Dijk and Gomez out for Kabak and Henderson, how do you expect our defense to keep that same standard? You can't. There's no chance you can.
I'm gonna try.
And I know you're debating, but
I'm gonna try and edit in the violin, Nabi, in that segment.
Okay, no, but explain it to me. How the high standards? Yes, the forwards should be better because they're all still there. Like, it's the same forwards that killed it over the last 3 or 4 years. But defensively, I don't know how people expect us to keep the high standards that we had before with players that are nowhere near the level of the players that have got injured.
You've got the best attacking midfielder now who's gonna break down all the defenses now. Who's gonna break down every single low block
but he spends half his time defending because Fabinho's not in the midfield. It's the same Pogba argument. You know how Pogba's the argument about not being able to get the best out of Pogba because of the players around him. I think Thiago is a bit like that. He needs the right players around him to do other roles. Like, I think once he has Fabinho next to him and say like an attacking midfielder around him, like a more attacking side of midfielder, Fabinho, Thiago and Keita with the full defence, I think you'll finally see what Thiago can do at that point. But I think right now with the midfield we've got, I think Thiago's having to do a lot more different things than he's had to in like a Bayern side.
Do you regard Thiago as a world-class midfielder?
Talk football, said
yes,
violin for sure.
Yes. Do you?
Well, no. The point I want to bring up is you're saying Thiago's a world-class midfielder.
I'm just asking you.
No, but I'm the one that brought this up. You say that Thiago's a world-class midfielder, but he needs other players to make him look good. Yet,
not to make him look good, to allow him to do what he needs to do. There's a difference. If he spends half his time doing what Fabinho should be doing because Fabinho's injured, it's not the same, is it?
To be fair,
systems adjust for people. Same as like Coutinho, he killed it in our system because we made the system around him. That doesn't mean Coutinho isn't a world-class player just because we had to build the system around him.
I was with you, but and I'm saying I do have to agree with him. I was with you, but that's a fair point. They're two different things. Because at the moment, Thiago is not being allowed to do what he does best. He's having to cover for Fabinho as well as try and do what he does best. So it's taking.
No, but the point I'm trying to get to is you say that Harry Maguire can't be a world-class defender because he needs someone else
we go.
to make him look good.
The reason I say that is because Harry Maguire doesn't have pace, right? He needs Eric Bayer to be if Eric Bayer had gone in against Dominic Calvert-Lewin against Leicester, he would have kept up against United, Everton, at Old Trafford. That first goal is not going in. Like, he doesn't even cut across to come in ahead of Maguire because Eric Bayer keeps up with him, doesn't allow it to come inside. Harry Maguire can't do that. Now, Thiago, you're telling him to track back and try and defend. Once he's then got the ball, you're now asking him to track 50, 30, 40, 50 yards up the pitch and then try and create a chance. Whereas normally, if Fabinho was there, Fabinho's doing the defending, gets the ball, gives it to Thiago. Thiago is 10, 15 yards away from Salah, Firmino and Mane. Turns, picks a pass. That's the difference. Maguire can't do what he does himself. At the moment, he needs whereas at the moment, Thiago is playing a different role to what he's supposed to be playing. He's supposed to be attacking midfielder, but he's not playing as the attacking midfielder. We've seen in some
he's
of the
playing
instances,
as the six.
Some of the instances we've seen when he's played as attacking midfielder, he's played really well. He's created quite a few chances for Liverpool. But with Fabinho being injured, he can't do that. He's having to do almost two jobs in one go, whereas Maguire,
one of Thiago's best games was against Everton in that 2-2, and that was the last time we really had a full team as well.
And Maguire, you're just telling him, okay, we want you to defend. That involves chasing an attacker when he gets in behind, but he's not got the pace to do that. He needs someone else with pace beside him.
A world-class defender is a world-class defender. It's not always down to the system, is it?
Yeah.
Like, you adjust your system for a decent defender, so you might put a couple more holding midfielders in there. Like, Liverpool play as a 2 when they have Van Dijk, whereas I think personally right now with the weaker defense, we should probably maybe go to a back 3 or maybe put 2 like more protection or whatever. So you'd adjust your system to help a defender who's not that good. But a world-class defender, you just create a back 4, you let the defense do what they need to do, and you build a system to help with the attack. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't build a system around to help Maguire adjust. So I don't know, like... And also, we talk about the best defenders in the world. We talk about how Ruben Diaz has meant that like everyone around him, like he's made the defense much stronger. I know Stones has done well, but it helps like having someone like Ruben Diaz next to him.
Ruben Diaz playing so
with Van
well.
Dijk, it's the same thing as well.
I think a lot of credit has to go to Ruben Diaz for Stones playing so well as well. Because
a lot of the credit, like remember every time I'd be like, "Oh, Gomez is really good," and the whole argument against it was, "Yeah, but he's got Van Dijk next to him."
Yeah.
And then I'd be like, "Oh, but look how much Matip's like he's killed it, like his performance been crazy," and everyone would be like, "But he's got Van Dijk next to him."
Yep.
Whereas the argument with Maguire is, "But he hasn't got this guy next to him, or he hasn't got this guy. Or the guy next to him isn't as good." So why is it like with Van Dijk he makes Matip better, but with Maguire he needs someone better than Lindelof or Bailly? In the end, our point about Maguire is he's a very, very good defender. He's not world class, in our opinion. And in the end, it is opinions, but we don't think he's world class. Anyways, moving on. So, Sheffield United and Chelsea. I think we will have Keita back in for the Sheffield United game. And I think that'll be a massive, massive boost. He's also another player, kind of like Thiago, who can actually, make the final pass, or he can actually do some goals and assists as well. He's quite creative. He can run with the ball, get past the man and stuff. So we really needed him back. And we also got Jota back in full team training. I don't think he starts yet, just because he's been out a while. I think he will be eased in, similar to like De Bruyne's being eased in. I know we don't have that luxury, but he will be eased in, I think.
Once he does come back, who's taking a seat? Because currently,
before you jump on my back,
I would just say currently any of your top three, your front three right now, could potentially.
I think Salah can't be. I think Salah's goal scoring suggests he can't be. Because you have to think, however bad it's been, Salah still kept himself like 4 goals ahead of everyone else.
Yeah.
And he has actually played well on the odd occasion, to be fair. Like, it's not been awful from Salah. I think it's Mane and Firmino that have been awful. But what I would say is it's either Firmino drops out or Firmino drops into the midfield, and they changed the system where they occasionally did the front four, where they had that front four for a while.
Yeah.
It's either that. Like, Firmino will either drop out or drop into the midfield a little bit more. And I think Firmino could drop into the midfield. For Hoffenheim, he was kind of like a number 10. He wasn't actually a false 9.
You having him and Thiago?
Why not? Once we get Fabinho back, I don't see why not. Well, I guess we need our full defence back, because we can trust our defence on their own with just one sitting DM and let the front do their work. That's how we used to be, but obviously we can't do that at the moment. But Firmino defensively is very good. Like, I don't think that's gone from his game. I think forward-wise, like he can't seem to score at all. And his passing and general play has been a bit off lately. I feel like he needs rotation more than anything. So yeah, Firmino, I don't see Mane and Salah dropping out. They're too much of a threat on their day to be taken out. But yeah, I think Sheffield United will be a tough game. I think it'll be cagey again, and we could end up with a draw or something. We're not looking like we're going to win anytime soon. And then Chelsea game at home, you'd hope you do well, but Tuchel's come in. He's done well for Chelsea, and they were quite impressive against Atletico Madrid. Even though Atletico Madrid played their awful tactics, which is the worst thing to watch. I don't think obviously Liverpool play like that, so it'll be a different game. And I think you can get at Chelsea, and they don't also score that often for a team.
That's the thing I was
going
to say.
Well controlled and well structured. They don't actually score much. But yeah, you got players like Giroud up top, and defensively and aerially we aren't the best, so he will be a problem. But
they're not conceding that much either.
No, like you can see 2 draws. Like I could easily see like drawing 1-1 to Sheffield United and drawing like 0-0 to Chelsea. Like I don't see wins coming up soon, which I think is normal when the form is like this. You don't really see wins coming.
Is Ben Davies ever getting a game?
I would like to see Kabak and Davies start now. I know. I don't know if you guys know, but Henderson's out for 12 weeks. Well, 9 to 12 weeks. He's had to have surgery on his groin. So he's near enough out for the season. Klopp saying he's hopeful he might be back for the last few weeks or something, last couple of weeks. So I would like to say just get Kabak and Davies, or even what did I do?
Wait, what did you say was Fabinho? Sorry, you're saying?
Fabinho. No, I'm talking about Henderson.
Oh, he's injured.
Yeah, he got injured, didn't he?
Sorry,
Did he fall asleep?
No, I misunderstood. I thought you were saying Ben Davies got injured and is out for the rest of the season. That's what I was saying. Well, you did in Arsenal buying an injured player.
Oh no.
All right, sorry.
He to be fair, he did come in and get a knock, but he wasn't like any serious injury. I don't know if I want to see Kabak and Davies or Kabak and Phillips, because I thought Phillips did well when he came on.
Can I make something? This is probably really, really premature, but I think from I think 2 games, Leicester and Everton, that I've watched Kabak, it seems a bit I don't want to say maybe shaky, a bit erratic, or
he does look a bit shaky, but
yeah.
I do think there's some caveats to it in terms of the fact that he does actually just need some rhythm and game time with us. Because we're talking about he comes in, brand new team, brand new system. We've got to remember that. It's hard enough for any player, even the most experienced, to come in and just gel, let alone a 20-year-old centre-back. Secondly, he's been playing with a midfielder. Okay, but secondly, he's been playing with a midfielder alongside him for the first 2 games. In a team that's like out of form.
But still, though, like I don't see how, like against Everton, literally, Carragher made this point, and I completely agreed. It was windy, right? But it seemed like the ball was going over his head all the time, like.
Yeah, so like Carragher made the point, like everyone was struggling, but he looked like he was struggling the most.
Yeah.
But my point is, he needs game time. Like he's a 20-year-old young defender who's come into a new system. He was playing alongside a midfielder. The only way to help him is game time. Like that's what we need him to be. It's the only way you fix it. It's game time. But like, what would you do? Take him out and do what? We don't have anyone left. No, you then put Phillips and Davies.
Like I said, just an observation. I never said to take him out or anything.
Oh yeah, he has looked shaky, but I think like age and stuff is a factor. Like I don't think we're getting him to start games in a normal season, are we? Like it's just one of those things that's happened. And I think some of the other guys that we wanted to were more experienced, we didn't get. So we have to take what we got. And at 20 years old, no matter how good you think they might be, they're going to have moments. They're going to look shaky sometimes and stuff. He did get a clean sheet in Europe, don't forget. So that's something to help him out.
Still, was it not next to the same... who was he playing against? Next to?
Oh, Henderson, yeah. It was with Henderson.
But sure,
he needs a partnership, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, surely from now there's no reason or excuse to play one of your midfielders at centre back now that you've got 3 centre backs.
Yes and no. I say technically, personally, I'd want Fabinho back in the midfield the moment he's back. I don't think he's back yet, but when he is back, I'd want him in midfield. But Klopp, beginning of the season, the reason Klopp didn't swap Lovren out for someone is because Fabinho was made the 4th choice if he had to be. So based on that reason, I don't know if Klopp will always go back to Fabinho if he needs to. But as he's brought Kabak and Davies in, I would like to see them start and just give them some game time. Like, this season's messed up anyways. Like, we're done. We're not going to... We'll struggle to get top 4. We might make it. But the best hope we've got is to put these 2 together and just let them build a partnership for the rest of the season.
Though I will also add, I just saw recent clips of VVD. Saw he was back kicking the ball now on the pitch.
Yeah, he was. Amazing, wasn't it? I just see it and I go... He looks like he's ready to play again.
Yeah.
He's clearly not, but just like I'm so hoping. Yeah, he was doing QPRs with the ball and stuff and doing outdoors training. He was in the gym a lot previously, but he's back on the pitch kicking the ball. Does that mean like we should be hopeful for a return this season?
I would probably maybe.
They're not saying that.
I would probably stay maybe another month and a half potentially. Because it's now gonna.
He does look good though. He looks comfortable.
To build up
he looks fit.
Muscle out on the grass again. Get used to the different.
Yeah, it's baby steps, isn't it? Yeah. So he's just kicking the ball on his own at the moment. Next minute, he's gonna have to do a bit more rigorous training, actually test that knee and stuff, and all that kind of stuff. So it'll be a while, but
he'll probably make some sub appearances. The last few games, but he won't be making.
Come back for the Champions League final when we make it there.
Or will you be watching other teams play then?
Well, you're laughing, but yeah, we're the one who's still in it.
And with that, we'll move to Manchester United. Nabi, how are you sort of looking at the draw against West Brom and the win against Newcastle?
Oh, the draw against West Brom got off to a very bad start with conceding the goal, which I think there is the case of, is it a foul? Because as you may have saw, he had hold of his face, Lindelof's face. And if that happens again in another game, you can quite easily see a foul being given. So there's not going to be any consistency with that. So I don't see how they can see him having hold of his face and not say it was a foul when you can probably say most of the times that happens a foul will be given than not given. But anyway, the reaction to that, they were able to get the goal from Bruno, wonderful goal, just before half time.
Bruno,
And then
he was my captain.
Bruno, nice over the shoulder in the air penalty that he scored. And I think after once they got that goal before half time, I was thinking,
just to have it on the
they'll get
record
the
also,
win.
Nabi was comparing that goal to Zidane's in the Champions League.
It was Zidane-esque. Pretty much.
One of the greatest
Same
goals
distance.
ever scored, by the way, just to put it out there.
Bruno.
Zidane.
Yeah, move on before we disrespect Zidane too much. Let's just move on.
Where was I? Yeah, so I was expecting second half come out and they'll get the win. You know, their usual away day form. Go behind, come back, get the win. But the second half, West Brom had some good chances. Their striker, forget his name, he played really well. He had some chances. Probably should have scored at least one of them for Brom. And I don't think United created that much. I mean, they had the chance right at the end. Right at the end, Maguire's header saved onto the post right at the end. But I guess overall, it's probably a draw was probably fair on that. And then into the next game with Newcastle. I think this game just felt like it had a consequence of the Europa League game away to Sociedad. It was just a bit slow. It wasn't really there. It wasn't really there. I think United scored first. I can't remember United or Newcastle scored first. Who scored first? Oh yeah, United scored first with Rashford. Rashford got his goal at the near post. And then Newcastle got an equaliser not long later. Totally De Gea's fault. Completely De Gea's fault.
What happened with the equaliser again?
It was the cross that came in, and then St. Maximus kind of got like a half volley into the
Oh yeah, I do remember. Yeah,
corner.
Maguire cleared it out. Was that De Gea's fault?
Totally De Gea's. One is he could have been more assertive with the initial cross, and I think he probably could have done better with the shot itself. Because obviously,
you have agenda against De Gea. That's what that is.
Henderson saves it all day long. But yeah, even I thought they might even struggle after Newcastle equalised because they just weren't really looking at it. And then they were able to get the goal. It's a nice goal. It was a really good finish from Dan James. And I was really pleased for him because he was my player, if you remember way back when, that I wanted to. I was having a bad time, and I was hoping that he would turn it around. He's having a nice wee spell now, so hopefully he can continue. That was a nice goal for him. And then there was the penalty, which we've already discussed, and ended up being a comfortable win, even though they didn't play that well. But I think this is going to be more often now. With them being in the Europa League, the Thursday-Sunday schedule, I think you're going to see a lapse in the Sunday games, especially now they've got their big tie in the Europa League. which they kind of have to take seriously. And I think that will affect them in the Sunday games. So they're just going to have to find ways to win. It's not going to be good performances, I don't think. But they're just going to have to find ways to win and try and consolidate their spot in the top four. Because that is my worry, that this Europa League campaign will affect their league form and they'll end up dropping points and then they'll get more involved in a top four battle. That is my concern the longer they stay in Europa League.
You are 9 points clear of us, though, aren't you? And 6 points or clear of Chelsea or something. Chelsea are in fifth, aren't they? 6 points clear of Chelsea in fifth.
Is it 6? I thought it could be 6 if United win.
No, you just better check. Yeah, no, it is 6 at the moment.
Is that in the same game?
9 clear of us in 6th, and 6 clear of Chelsea in 5th, who's got 43 points, and you've got 49 behind City.
Yeah, and also this is actually got a quite an important few games in there. They've got Chelsea, Crystal Palace, City, West Ham. So that's 3 of the 4 games. 3 of them are against top 4 competition, and then adding that with having this the Europa League games, this is going to be a testing time for them. So it'll be interesting to see how they come out at the end of this. But yeah, the Newcastle performance was what I was expecting, and the result was probably better than the performance showed. But it's what they're going to have to do. They're just going to have to try and grind and get these results now.
What did you think of Maguire's arm into Lascelles? The assault that he had done on him.
Well, first, I don't think it's clear that he elbows or puts his arm into the face. I think he quite easily could have just had it onto his shoulder.
But it's not shoulder to shoulder.
It was a strange one. He did see Lascelles coming in and went straight for him.
That's what my point is. There was no tip of the ball. He just saw Lascelles. And you know when you're trying to use your body to block a player to make them go around you to slow them down and stuff? Yeah. Instead, it was a whole fully extended arm.
It wasn't. I don't think it wasn't like a swing of an arm.
It was an extended arm that he then used to throw him down, basically.
Yeah, it was a strange one, but I just felt that if it was as bad as you're making it out, then why didn't Lascelles make a bigger deal of it?
Because as a defender, if the play's still going on, your instinct is to get up and try and help. Because what if United counter?
He still could have made a bigger deal, had a word with the ref.
No, what I was saying, I don't know if you saw something. Matteo Guendouzi over the weekend. He was in his own box, and you know that when a player sort of puts themselves between the man and the ball and then preempts the contact and is already going. What Xhaka does a lot for Arsenal. Did that, sort of making a meal, trying to make the most out of the contact. Ref didn't blow, and the team scored. So to Shihab's point, if the defender tries to make a meal out of it, and the ref doesn't give anything, and the opposition go on and score, now you're going to be looking at the defender saying, "What were you doing? Like, why?"
I'm not saying.
Did you see the challenge, T? Did you see it?
No.
I
would love to show you a clip of it. I don't know if
I'm not saying making a deal by on the ground holding his face, but just as he's running back, he could still be shouting to the ref or just making a gesture.
Then you're not.
He can still do that well.
Because the thing is that if they then don't consider, this coach is going to be looking at him saying, you're half paying attention to trying to get back and half paying attention to at the ref. Put your full attention.
But the other side of it is
after, let's say, the ball went out of play, or did you go over to the ref? Because that's the opportune moment. Then I would say
that's what I'm saying. I don't think I think at any point he made any sort of appeal for it.
Yeah, for me,
I don't know if I can find the clip.
In play, it's dangerous, I would say, but out of play, that's when I would say if the ball goes out of play, then you go over to the ref and make your case to say what's going on.
But I think the other side of it is you have to give the referee a decision to make. Because it kind of goes back to the whole argument about the soft penalties. The players, when they feel the contact, they're going down to make to force a referee into a decision. So it's kind of this: if you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah, that's true. I guess kind of. I don't know if you remember the point that I was making the other day, that Arsenal, they don't surround the referee to try and force a decision.
Yeah.
If you go, they just sort of whatever the referee gives, they're like, oh, okay, cool, that's what it is. Instead of surrounding the referee and try and get him to make a decision.
I've sent the clip on the chat if you did want to put your comments to it. But like, you rarely see this stuff given. But I just looked at it and thought, whoa, he's going straight for him.
Like the one I showed you with Mings as well.
Oh wow, yeah, he literally. He doesn't outside of the box.
That's got
to
be a pen. Like at some point, they got to change to make that kind of
argue dangerous play because that's an elbow to the face.
Well, let's just say it's not clear that contact.
It's definitely not. It's definitely not Maguire putting his body in the way like plays do.
It's not. If that was reviewed, you could. Yeah,
that's an arm. Yeah. Like that's his arm going out.
Yeah. Yeah,
there's a massive difference between just adjusting your body to make them like hit you.
The thing that makes it worse
that kind of stuff.
You see him glancing back, and he sees Lascelles.
He's not even glancing. He stares. He stares and makes sure he gets it. That's what that is.
Yeah.
You know when like, you go for a head and you do a quick glance to see where the opponent is.
Mm-hmm.
This was a stare down and make sure I'm taking you out. Like the other way around. You're saying pen, to me that's a pen.
Yeah, but, I have to agree. Because it's one of those, like you were saying, any other situation outside the box, that's a foul given. The referee is blowing immediately and giving a foul for that. Because
might even be given a red for that.
Well, I mean, it's not really. It's not really an out of the box. I won't say it's not an out of the box thing, though. It's not really a thing that would happen out of the box.
No, but if it did, like, it would be.
That's the point. I'm just saying, like, if it happened outside the box, because it does happen where you see someone about to make a run. Or a 1-2 happens and the player who's about to receive the ball again, the other player makes no attempt to get the ball. The defending player makes no attempt. He just steps in and just body checks the other player. It's a foul. That's essentially what he literally just body checks him with his arm up high.
Yeah, that's what makes it worse because I think you can accept a body check in the box because it does happen a lot. You just get your body in the way to make them try and get around you and then they can't and reach and stuff. But this was a full arm. Like this was his arm coming out because his body wasn't there. To make sure he takes down Lascelles. Like, I can't see how you could watch that clip and go, nah, it's fine. Like, to me, I looked at it and thought, wow. Like, that's beyond what should be plausible in a penalty area.
Well, as I said, it was strange, especially the way he looked at Lascelles. He knew he was kind of premeditated.
We pushed you to enough to say strange without being able to say that's the penalty.
I think just the fact that Lascelles doesn't make enough of a deal of it.
So now Lascelles not making enough of it, you don't think it was,
but it wasn't brought up until after the game. It wasn't like it was looked at in the game. It's not until after the game.
No, but things get missed. You're pointing out stuff that could be human error. I'm talking about look at the decision, look at the situation for yourself. Not Lascelles' reaction or what the pundits decide to speak about. Your own point of view of that situation. That's all I'm asking for.
I've given it.
Yeah, to be fair,
you've given me the fact that others have not reacted or pundits not said anything.
He has said that it's really strange the fact that he completely looks at him and it doesn't.
I want to hear it. That's a pen. Not it's just a strange move by Maguire.
I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear. I'm here to give my opinion. I've given it.
Your opinion is that it's just a strange thing from Maguire.
I have answered your question.
But do you think it's a pen?
I've answered your question. We're running out of time here.
Yeah, I think we take that as a yes. That he thinks it's a pen. Anyways, moving on. Carry
on. What about your? Was it your big fixtures coming up now? Chelsea and Crystal Palace.
Yes, 2 tough games.
To be fair,
Chelsea,
I don't know. Maybe this is me. This season, right? Because of Eze, the inclusion of Eze. The Crystal Palace are not as defensive as they used to be. Going back last season, for example.
Not, yeah.
So I would say it's not as hard a game as it was. If it was last season, I would be like, yeah, you're really in for a tough one. But they're trying to play a lot more this season. Obviously to incorporate Eze in, which has opened them up a little bit, I think, as well, in trying to do so. And with your guys' counter-attacking ability, prowess, you'd think you'd be able to get quite a few goals in that game.
They can, but I just think Crystal Palace can give you a hard game.
I suppose they did actually at the start of the season, didn't they? You're probably still having nightmares about that one.
No, I'm over that. That was pre-season. That didn't count.
What do you make of the Chelsea game as well? Because obviously, you haven't got the bounce yet, but they are doing better.
Well, it's like Ole's tactics for these games has been not to lose. So I see him going with the same tactic, but there's also the recent results, the loss against Sheffield United, the draw against West Brom, draw against Everton. These are points he wouldn't have expected to drop. So now he can't afford to drop any more. So he does kind of need to keep. He needs a win against Chelsea to try and keep that arm's length. But his usual tactic in these games is to be a bit more defensive, set up not to lose. To then.
Don't you think he'll stick by that with the fact that Chelsea are the team in fifth? So, by drawing with Chelsea, you're keeping them 6 points behind. Or do you think he wants to push and make it?
It's not just
bigger?
Chelsea. Like there's also Leicester and West Ham. Dropping points and letting them gain points on you as well.
But as long as the team in fifth and sixth are kept behind you, not really an issue. Who's the rest of the third and fourth? Is it really? You know what I mean? Like, as long as you keep Chelsea and Liverpool behind you, it doesn't matter who else gets closer.
But if you end up dropping from second to fourth, there's still that danger you can still drop to fifth because it's all about momentum. Just look at Leicester last year. The momentum went against them; couldn't keep up.
Do you see Dan James playing in these ones with his pace?
Maybe in the Chelsea game, maybe not in the Crystal Palace game, maybe in the Chelsea game. Yeah, because they're both at Stamford Bridge. It's hard to say. I think he'll set up to counter-attack. I don't know if he might even do something different to because he knows Chelsea will be three at the back. So he might even go three at the back himself. Maybe Luke Shaw. He do what he did actually against PSG away, which was also against Tommy Tuchel. So he might go for the same system as he did then. But it's hard to say. I think we need Cavani back, though, because Cavani being injured, Martial just isn't good enough as a striker. And Cavani has been doing really well. So we need him back. Ideally, we'd also have Pogba back, but he's out for a few weeks now. So we're going to have to cope without him. But I think we need Cavani back up front. Rashford on the left. And then it'll either be Greenwood or Dan James on the right. And McTominay, actually. McTominay has become a good, important player for them. They need him back. So, yeah, Chelsea game, anything really could happen. He could play back three. He might not. He might decide to go for it. He might decide we just can't lose. It's hard to say. But the Palace game is the one where they will have to go for it and get the win. And I think they can. If they play it right, then they can do it. Because I was going to say, I don't recall many times of Palace coming from behind, but they did. In the Leicester game, did they go behind in the Brighton game? Or was it like they scored, Brighton scored, they scored? What was the sequence of goals in the Brighton game?
Palace scored first, and then Brighton got a goal back. And then Palace scored last minute.
Yes, so Palace never went behind. And I don't really recall, I don't really see Palace as being a team that comes from behind, really. So I think the important thing is just kind of get the first goal and just control the game. And that'll be the tactics for the Palace game. And the Chelsea game will probably just be stay in the game as long as possible and try and take the moment if and when it comes. So that's what I see happening for those two. And also the away record is kind of on the line now because their next three away games is Chelsea, Well, Palace. Oh yeah, this next 4 away games: Chelsea, Palace, City, and Spurs. So if ever it was going to come to an end, it's probably going to be in the next 4 games. If you get past that, this run is never ending.
I hope Solskjaer beats Mourinho and then pats him on the head again, like he did that. Actually, that image would never leave my mind. It was such a beautiful thing to watch, where he beat Mourinho and then he just sort of pat him on the head, almost like, just saying, "Oh, it's okay, you little cute one. Nice try."
I do wonder if he did that deliberately. We knew what he was doing.
It was deliberate. It was definitely deliberate. Like, normally you pat someone on the back, you just give him a quick pat. He went for the head. That was deliberate. That was meaning to belittle Mourinho. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So more of that, please, from Solskjaer. I'm not sure if you've got any Shabs, any more questions for Naby.
No.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that I just hope they collapse.
Yeah, whatever. Also wanted to, I guess, get a mention how Shabs was saying how annoyed he was at that decision that went against Alexander-Arnold. I felt that way last night against the decision that went against Lindelof. Because I just thought, what can Lindelof
No, but we're not
do?
here to talk about the Europe League.
Yeah,
we're not. Move on, Naby. We don't care.
Like, honestly, he literally, that was a flying knee. Like, that wasn't...
It was a flying knee right in
That was a flying knee to the guy's face. He did... Like, with... thing is one, Trent was on the ground at least, right? So,
and he was just sat still. He was sat up still. That was it.
He was knee level anyway. This guy was stood up and Lindelof hit him in the head with his knee.
No, but it's not Lindelof. It's not Lindelof.
Just as that guy looked left, it was hilarious, wasn't it? Just as he turned left.
It was funny, left and bang in the face. But, Lindelof shouldn't be penalised because he can jump so high. I mean, the jump itself...
It wasn't just about jumping high, though. Like, Cristiano Ronaldo jumps high. It's the way it was. Like,
thank you,
the momentum,
Ronaldo
the forward
jumps high. He does not lead with his knee. The only player that's allowed to lead with their knee that I've noticed are goalkeepers. Goalkeepers do it all the time. They jump leading with their knee to protect themselves from attackers and potentially their own defenders as well. Cristiano Ronaldo jumps and straight. He doesn't go leading in with his knee the way...
He was jumping for the ball. He was running and then jumping. And then obviously his knee's going to be... He's going forward. Obviously his knee's going to go forward.
Nah.
The defender should have been watching. Should have kept an eye on the guy who's supposed to be marking.
Or what? Just in case he gives me a flying knee. You're on mute, by the way.
No, so you can see.
The one who was meant to be marking him lost him. So the one that he went into was just marking zonal. It wasn't him that was meant to mark Lindelof.
He was ball watching.
No, but that was his job. His job is to be zonal and watch the ball. Yeah, the one that was marking him lost him. It was the other guy that lost him that was meant to be marking him.
Now anyway, they do part zonal and part man. So, like what Shabs is saying, the guy was marking the zone.
He just looked left, thinking the ball's not near him. He looked left to see where the ball went, see what's happening. Boom, like knee in the face.
You guys know that meme? Like he turned around. Someone should just paused it and then say, "At this moment, he knew he was fucked." Because honestly, when I saw, I was like, "Wow." How is that allowed? And then like that the tweet that I said that someone posted that in the Premier League that would have been given as a penalty to Manchester United, which is
rightly so. Rightly so. The guy is in Lindelof's way. Lindelof's making a genuine attempt for the ball and he blocks him off. Penalty, red card.
He blocks him off with his face.
That would be like me saying when the David Luiz penalty, the guy ran across David Luiz into David Luiz's path. So it should have been a foul to Arsenal because it makes no sense what you're saying, no sense. But
Lindelof's making a genuine attempt for the ball.
That was quite funny, I must say. And on that hilarious note, actually, we will conclude this week's podcast. It's been a long one, but then again, we haven't been here for a while. We're looking to get back to regular. Once again, life's getting in the way and all of those things. But as always, please, it literally costs you nothing. It's just moving your finger and liking. Like, share, and interact. We do not bite. And yeah, it helps us grow. You know, you guys liking, you get more listeners. The Talk Football community continues to grow. So yeah, please like, share, and comment. Thank you very much for tuning in this episode. I've been Tinashe. Until the next episode, Tonan. Sorry, the intro is supposed to.